Yeah. So, okay. Okay, well, we're gonna get started. All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you all for coming. Okay, this is the Borough Workshop meeting for February 4th, 2026, and we have the call to order and the roll call.
President Gerard,
Here.
Vice President Burns,
Here.
Councilmember Ferguson, Councilmember Hawk,
Here.
Councilmember Weiss,
Here.
Mayor Gerard,
Here.
Junior Councilperson Shiana DiCola,
Here.
Borough Manager Snyder,
Here.
Borough Solicitor Harper.
Here.
Okay. Item 1, the approval of the meeting agenda. I'd like a motion to approve the agenda of the February 4th, 2026 workshop meeting. Motion.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilperson Burns, seconded by Councilperson Weiss. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item 2, public input. Do we have anybody here who would like to say anything? Please come to the podium, state your name and address and the reason for addressing council. Okay, nobody? Do we have anybody who was online who submitted any?
No, I did not have any submissions.
Okay. All right, item 3, announcements. The next Borough Council meeting is February 18th, and the regular meeting is at 7 o'clock in the council chambers. I guess you're supposed to be doing that, not me, huh? I can do it, yeah. All right, and the next Planning Commission meeting is scheduled for Monday, February 23rd, 2026 at 6 p.m. in council chambers. All right, item 4, reports from standing committees and the mayor. And as chair of the Budget and Finance and Labor Committee, we have not met recently, so I have nothing to report. The Planning, Building, and Zoning Committee report. Nothing to report. Okay. The Public Safety Committee report.
We met tonight before the meeting. There was a few things we went over. Let's see, we have, there was a traffic study done on South Main Street, and West Broad will be done in the spring. There were only single events for the speeding. It is not high traffic speeding or anything like that. We also, found out that, if there's calls for abandoned cars from apartments, the apartment owners have to be calling them into the police officers. They can't be calling them into the borough to have them removed. They need to be dealt with the police and the original owners of the apartment. Also, the 2 pedestrian crossings, the one out here at Calpath and Chestnut, and the one at Talmadge and Broad, we're waiting for the flasher arms to still come in. And it probably won't be done before the end of this school year. Also, Mongo 2040 is working with us in the township with the nice weather to put in bike stations and some other signage for the bike trails. And also looking into some traffic cameras. Getting grants for them, and that would be through the township and us. We would share the responsibility for that. Also, Vine Street is going to be closed sometime in the spring. We don't have a date yet. We're waiting for a date. They're going to be doing repairs to the bridge. So there will be signage as to where the detours are going to take you. And so you can look for that once we have a little bit further info on that. Also, East Vine, we're looking into getting a turning light there because people don't know that the traffic is all set there. So they're sitting through the traffic light and then the traffic is backing up. So we have some grants and we have some extra money that put aside for that. So we're gonna look into that as well. And we're gonna do a survey in the next town hall meeting in the spring for the firehouse siren. If you notice, you haven't heard it lately. We need to get a new one. And they have new ones now that have alerts for weather as well. So we kind of want to get the residents' opinion on that. So we'll be doing a survey on that. Also, North Main Street, we're gonna look into that as far as no triaxles or bigger to cut down on the truck traffic. And the bus stop that was in front of the historical museum has now been moved into Lydia Drive inside the shopping center there, so it's a little bit safer for all the students waiting for the bus and also to get on the bus. We're also looking into some ordinances for the electric bikes and the electric scooters that you wouldn't be able to use them in parks and on trails. So we're gonna look into that a little bit further so that there's some better standards and warning for that. And on February 14th, there's a consortium, is that correct? Testing going on for the local police in the area. So if you're interested in that, you can go ahead and sign up for that. And I think he said this is the last week for the sign up.
Yeah, I don't know the exact date, but I believe it's.
So that's what I have. Any further questions?
Just one thing, are the traffic studies, are they going to be done on a regular basis for the speed?
They're the ones that they just did, which was for Main Street. They also did Copple Road, Vine Street not too long ago. They have just very few speeders. So they're not going to be doing another study unless there's like changes to the roads or new housing coming in, something to warrant a new traffic study to be done.
Okay. Thank you. All right, next, the Public Works and Property and Equipment Committee report.
You just say you
Yeah.
You just say you didn't. You just say we didn't meet yet. Right, you just say you didn't. Yeah, nothing to report. Mr. President, at this point, we have nothing to report.
Thank you. The Utilities Committee report.
Our next meeting is scheduled for the 18th. So we have not met yet.
All right, the Hatfield Economic Revitalization Outreach Committee report. I have nothing to report at this time as we have not yet met so far for this year. And Mayor Mary Ann Gerard's report.
I just have one thing I wanted to report on. I received an invitation to the Share Food Program ribbon cutting ceremony. I quite honestly was not familiar with that organization, so I thought I'd go and see what it was all about. What I was able to learn, it's the lead agency for food distribution in Montgomery County, providing emergency assistance, senior food boxes, school lunches, and rescued donated food for some 55,000 people each month. I think that is quite something to be really proud of. We are the second wealthiest county in the state of Pennsylvania, but we have every day 85,000 of our residents are facing food insecurity. So hopefully having this distribution center in Montgomery County, it's the first time like something like this has been in the county. So hopefully that's going to help people. Now I checked with the Hatfield Church of the Brethren because Hatfield, that church, and the Emmanuel are the two nearest food pantries. And I wanted to see if they were aware of the Share Food Program. And Hatfield Church of the Brethren reported that yes, They are part of that share program. And what share does is put out a list of food items that are available each week. And then the pantries pick what they want, and food share will deliver that to them. So I thought that was pretty amazing. So it's a good program. If you get a chance to support it in any way, please do. It's helping a lot of people. And that's all I have. Any questions?
All right, thank you. All right, item 5, reports and correspondence, the monthly investment report.
Sorry, so the cash accounts report through December and the monthly investment reports is included in your packets. I just want to highlight the very last, I want to say slide, where we talk about your gain and loss, your income, your disbursements, and your fees. As you can see, fees that we pay to manage this account is roughly $17,000 in the year of 2025. I spoke to the chairman of the Budget, Finance, and Labor Committee, and we will be talking about this during our Budget, Finance, and Labor meeting. I'm going to be working on a comparison that how much money we're actually getting from Key Bank and we're putting into Harleysville or getting from our other investments versus what it would look like with interest rates at, a Pliget or just putting them in Harleysville. And we'll have some type of comparison that we can see where this has been trending over the last few years. And then we will have a meeting scheduled with Key Bank and also meetings with other banks in the area to just talk about if the fees are worth what we're getting, put into our accounts. It's only, if you look at it, $2.3 million. I think that that's easily something that we can manage in-house. But if we're making a lot more money on it, keeping it in Key Bank, so we have to kind of look at that. So we're going to be examining that probably first quarter of this year, and Budget, Finance, and Labor will bring that back to council for your input and your decisions to see what that's like. I think we could maybe save some money if we move something somewhere different with the fees. We talked about some short-term investments, but that's going to be decisions that council will be making, and guiding, staff, I would say first quarter of 2026. So just wanted to highlight that as part of this report.
Thank you. One other thing that Jamie didn't mention, we were talking also about doing something what we call idle funds. That's money that sits in our different accounts or checking accounts. And we're looking about working with some of the banks that we currently do to see if we can do what they call a sweep, an overnight sweep, where they put money out into various low risk investments, and then we get it back the next morning and earn some additional funds on that. And we're looking at a number of different possibilities to make sure that we're doing the best we can with our funds. So, all right, thank you. Any questions on that? Okay. All right, the Hatfield 250 committee report.
Okay, so a reminder that tomorrow night there is the Forbes Road Frolic, it's called, and that'll be at 7 o'clock at the Township Municipal Building. It's a duo of people who wear period costumes, and they play colonial era tavern music, similar to the old Irish bar songs and stuff like that. So it should be pretty neat. They'll instruct about the music, the instruments that they're singing, and it's also the only time in this year that they'll be within 50 miles of Hatfield. So it might be interesting if you have time. 7 o'clock tomorrow night at the Township Building. There's one new event that has recently been added to the schedule. It'll be on April 13th. It's called Privateering After Dark. It's an adult-only thing, and it's going to talk about some of the things that went on after dark, if you will. So it sounds very interesting. So that'll also be at the Township Building.
No drag performances?
Yeah, let's hope not. Did you get invited? Oh, no, I'm sorry. And also the on the 19th is the Jeffersonian dinner. And it looks like CBS, the local TV station, is going to be there filming. So that should be interesting stuff. All right, that's it.
Thank you. My apologies, we skipped a couple things here, so I'm gonna go back.
That's why I paused.
The monthly EIT and LST report.
Monthly EIT and LSD reports in your packets for January, where you're looking at 14,536 versus 2025, 11,106 for EIT. And when we move over to LST through January, 1,243. And in 2025, we're at 785. So trending positive at the beginning of the year. We'll see how that continues. As we know, we bumped EIT up for the budget for 2026. We left LST the same. So we'll just keep watching and hopefully it brings in the income that we've predicted.
Thank you. The next item, monthly year-to-date report.
Monthly year-to-date report through the end of the year is included in your packets. As you can see, we received 95% of our estimated revenues and used 81% of our estimated expenses. I know a couple big ticket items came under budget last year, which was the utility replacement project. That $3 million project came in a little bit under budget, though we did receive a large amount of grant funding for it, and the paving project as well. So that might be why our expenses are a little bit low. But it did catch me, you know, I like to be more, not that I want to spend 90% of what we estimated, but I would like our budget to be within 10% of what we guesstimate moving forward. So looking at this, I'm going to be pulling some numbers and some reports with Diane to just look at the line items more, particularly, was there something that we could budget a little bit differently in 2026, some target items that we can look at, or maybe we see some cost savings. You know, just kind of brought my attention. I like that we didn't spend as much as we thought we were going to spend, but maybe that can have a positive impact on our budgeting for, you know, 2027, because every cent and dollar counts. So that's something that I'm going to be looking at, and I'll get to budget, finance, and labor and the rest of council sometime in the first quarter if there's anything that jumps off the page outside of these items that we kind of knew came in under budget, which were large projects.
Thank you. Okay, the monthly zoning hearing board applications.
There were no new applications this month.
All right. Let's see, we did that already, and we did that. The police department report.
That'll be available for the next meeting. Just want to add, we finally started moving into the station. So the address was supposedly updated for the Google address. So they're supposed to start directing people from the old station to the new building. Our all staff is operating out of there. It's quite a process.
I have a question. I don't know if you can answer it, but somebody asked me the other day about the traffic light there at the intersection with the shopping center and that, and they said it doesn't seem to be working properly. Like they said, it seems like a long cycle with the cars that are sitting, coming out of the shopping center driveway.
So they are sensor based. I believe there could have been some issues recently because of the amount of snow that's still on the blacktop right there. It's also blocking a good portion for the travel lanes, which you actually had cleared today. So that could be part of the reason. As far as anything else, I haven't seen traffic backing up significantly.
Right.
Yeah, you'll get your standard delays of people looking at their phone instead of proceeding on green. But other than that, it was working fine before the snowstorm. So I can't attest what's been since, but going through there several times a day, it's been working.
Yeah, they didn't tell me if it was before or after the storm. They just said there was a problem. They were sitting there for like 5 minutes before the light changed. So, all right.
We'll definitely have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. All right. Skip another one. The MCPC steering committee report.
We did not have a meeting in January due to the storm, so we're meeting in our next meeting is scheduled for February.
All right. The fire department report.
We were hopefully robust work this year. We are at 57 calls for January, and we already have 10 calls in February. So hoping that that pace does not keep up, because if it does, we're probably going to hit somewhere close to 700 calls. Be insane.
All
What did we
right.
finish that last year?
91.
491?
2 a day. Right, 2 a day?
Yeah,
Yeah, something like that.
it's just not really working out that way. We'll have a few days that are empty, then we'll have a day that is 6 calls.
Okay.
So it's really been stacked weirdly.
Are the calls because of the additional you coverage for other departments?
Some of them are. During the day, we send an engine or a ladder to all of Tom Vincent's calls and all of Commerce calls, so.
Yeah. Okay, hopefully it'll stabilize. All right, the EMS report.
There was no report included in your packets.
Okay. Public Works Department report.
Just a lot of fun snow removal.
All right, hopefully we're all dug out. The engineering report.
Chad's report was not included in your packets. We did have a discussion, but because he submitted one about 2 weeks ago, I told him to hold off and he'll have a full report for March.
Okay. Zoning officer, building code and property management, property maintenance report.
The code and zoning report is included in your packets. Just wanted to highlight they're getting ready to send out, do final fire safety inspection reports, and rental inspection reports will go out for 2026. We have some resales in the borough and permits. Most violations, as you can imagine, were for snow removal or the lack thereof. So.
All right. Fire marshal, fire safety inspection report.
There was no report in your packets this month.
The pool advisory report
There was no report in your packets this month.
and the junior council person report.
My report is that met today with the safety committee. It was a really interesting meeting. I think Councilmember, you summed it up pretty good. So yeah.
Okay. Good here. All right, item 6, the manager's report.
My report was included in your packets. Not much change, just keeping on the microphones now. On 43 Roosevelt land development, that's continuing. I know Steve's been out there several times. Same with our engineer. Same with 23 North Main Street, Hatfield Walk. That land development continues to work its way through. Steve has also been out there along with our engineer several times. So we have constant communication with both developers for those 2 projects. They seem to be going smoothly. We did speak at the last meeting about the debris that's been treaded on the roads from 23 North Main. So hopefully it's getting a little bit better, and just looking forward to them being paved and that being taken care of. For 2026 project updates, we will be meeting with the engineer later this month to discuss the curb ramp and ADA project, along with the Union Street storm sewer project, and any other items. We always have an annual kickoff meeting, either the end of March or beginning of February, just so we all get on the same page with the engineer. That'll be happening later this month. And wanted to highlight some items of interest. Partnership TMA Trailblazers Advisory Group. So if you are an enthusiast of the Liberty Bell Trail, we were the first. So if you want to be part of the advisory group, there's a meeting on February 10th. They're just asking, it's really an informal online meeting for those that are interested in the Liberty Bell Trail, learning more about the Liberty Bell Trail and how it's going to extend. You can scan the QR code or go to the partnership's website for more information. And also was not included in your packets, but the PSAB conference registration came live today. So if you're interested in attending the PSAB conference, starting at the end of May 31st, let me know and I'll register you. I can, send you, you might have received the email today. I think it just came out today. Kate and I were talking about it. With the agenda, if you're interested in attending, there's some good items. I also know that PMEA will be hosting a like cocktail hour appetizers on Monday night. So if you want to come and talk electric, but you don't want to go to the conference, we invite you to come out and talk to managers and other elected officials that own and operate their own electric in Pennsylvania. And it's held at the Hershey Lodge. So if it's something you're interested in, let me know and I can have you registered for the event.
All right, item 7, new business and discussion items. Have any?
We do not have any new business this evening. All business is old business.
Okay. Therefore, we are now on item 8, the old business.
Okay, let me help you with this one. I know Borough Council is very familiar with this. We've been talking about it for a month. This is because we have a local ordinance that says once a street is paved, you have to wait 5 years before you can cut into it. Mayor Heckler died and his estate has 2 lots. And they don't want to wait 5 years to settle the estate and sell the lots. And so they proposed opening the street. They've been going back and forth. Jeff Landis is here, he's their attorney, and they have their engineer as well. They've been going back and forth with our engineer to try to come up with a way that'll make it beneficial for both parties if you were to allow this. Our ordinance does permit Borough Council to make exceptions. So, Jeff Landis.
That's accurate, as Kate summarized, and I want to thank Borough Council for the opportunity to present in front of you again. I also want to express our appreciation for the work of your engineer, the work of your solicitor, the work of your borough manager for helping us stay on top of this and being able to continue putting one foot in front of the other to good presentation to you. The majority of the presentation, I'd like to turn over to engineer Jeff Worth, who's going to describe to you how we're looking to comply with all the expectations of your borough engineer. We are aware that we have to do so. It's been made known to us that that would at least be a condition of Borough Council if you were to give discretionary approval to our request to open the road. So I'm just going to turn this over to Jeff to describe the work that's been done with the engineers so far, and then I'll have one concluding comment.
I have copies of the letter and costs for everybody if you want them. I can approach it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you get back to the link, introduce yourself with laughing up before marching in at home. Gotcha. Thanks.
Thank you. As Jeff said, Jeff worked as engineers with you, seen you guys a few times. I've been working back and forth with Chad, multiple emails, multiple conversations, and working on the details, kind of like, what about this, what about that? And as a result, I've updated the costs. And the last page of what I handed out to you, proposed an escrow base cost of around 77,000. 150% that you requested takes it to 115, and then 10% in your administration. So our grand total is up around 123.5. I do know Chad has looked at some of it. He's not finished. He'll be doing a more formal review. But leading up to this point, he and I have been back and forth with, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? I gave him all my calculations, all my areas, all my bases for all the trench work. As we had discussed last time, we talked about using the global fill, and he was quite comfortable with that idea. The neat thing is it allows you to reopen the road quickly. I do see, because of the nature of the openings, especially the sanitary laterals, because they cross to the other side of the street, who will end up having in place to keep one lane traffic open.
So one thing Borough Council needs to know is the draft resolution that was in your packets does propose that they escrow the money in advance. So that if something goes wrong and they fail to do it correctly, the borough can get it done. That's why we needed the costs. So, sorry. But
So, rather than hit, I mean, I can hit every point of the letter, but basically we've agreed to all of the conditions. In addition, we updated the plans to reflect all the details for the road work that he had provided, I think, Tuesday morning. Those have been added. I added details on the trenches because we're cutting the trenches open wider than normal, with an extra foot of cut back for all the trenches. The wearing course is as we presented before, and the property inch and a half. And minor notations he provided Tuesday afternoon to add to the plan in the form of a markup set. We'll do those also. So we have some details and notes and things like that to catch up. I think we captured about 95% of everything that Chad was looking for, and that you guys have expressed any concern and interest.
I have one question for you. Okay, you're gonna be putting a trench in there to put in the utilities. And I see on here you have about the depressed curb installation. I guess that's for the driveway cutout.
Yes.
But how are you gonna determine where the driveway cutout's gonna be? You don't have an existing building yet.
I think what the mechanic, and this part of the conversation with Mr. Landis, myself, with Kate, a little bit with Jamie and with Chad, is mechanics and all things. My understanding is we're posting an escrow to cover all of these costs. But at some point, the estate sells the lots to a buyer. The buyer will then come in, get the grading permits. Based on those grading permits, we'll know where the trenches are, we'll know where the driveways are. And that would be the basis of where the driveways would be. That you're covered by the escrow that the estate posts above and beyond everything else.
and your intention is to do both at once.
The condition of the
Driveway
sale
cuts,
of the
right.
lots is they would have to do all of the cuts. The 2 water, 2 sanitary sewer, and 2 driveways, all within one reasonable time period. Might be a couple of weeks, but yeah, it's not one lot than the other.
And that would also, the area that you're repaving would include both of those, or
Yeah.
4 of them, all 4 of those.
I'm gonna go to the end for a second.
And all that would be done before the final paving.
Yes, a couple things relative, and Chad and I had a lot of conversation because we kind of had a couple of chicken before the egg type scenarios, and we would pay from the far property line to the closer block property line where the stop bar is. Obviously, repaint the stop bar, repaint the crosswalk, that's all part of the plan. And then the utilities would be installed within a certain time period, couple weeks, month, whatever it would take, based upon 2 approved grading permit plans, so we know where the driveways would be. We know where the utilities would be. There's also a provision which we've agreed to that we would not come back and do the primal wearing course till 60 days after all the trenches are done. And that's still out for settlement, but I will tell you, if you recall from January, when we used the flowable fill, we did very, very little settlement. It just does a great job.
So in other words, then, correct me if I'm wrong, what you're saying is you have to wait until you get the finalized plot plan for those 2 properties and
Yes.
determine where the driveways are gonna be before you can start any construction.
Right, and both the condition of both lots
Right, okay.
in the agreement sale would be they have to do both lots, both set of,
At the same time.
yeah, utilities and driveways. It's possible one house construction might lag. But either way, you're covered because the escrow covers all of that. And 60 days then after everything's done, then we mill and pave. Within normal milling and paving, but which you know is maybe early, mid-November.
Okay.
What happens if, I know you don't want this, but what happens if you have 2 buyers? One for each lot.
The lots will be marketed together, so it would not be like 2 buyers.
Okay, so you're not, if somebody comes in and says, I just want that one, you're not gonna consider that.
Well, I'm not gonna say definitively
Right.
how we react to that, but we understand that a utility and disturbance of the road have to be all done at the same time.
Right.
And if we were to navigate that with two separate fires, that would still be the case.
Yeah,
But I think that it's more promising to market them together.
Sure.
The realtor we talked to thinks that'd be the best.
okay, thank you.
I think the other part of that is in any agreement, you would stipulate that they both have to be built within that same time period. And all of the trench work and the driveways be done.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
One other concluding comment, again, we thank you for your consideration of this proposal. We know that the ordinance 21-110 is for good reason, but it also does permit Borough Council to give approvals to the exception, which is what we're asking for today. And I've reviewed the draft of the resolution that Attorney Harper has prepared. It is satisfactory to us with one request for a slight modification in that the conditions imposed, these special conditions would be imposed only if there was a development or tie-in of the utilities within the 5 years from that original paving, which I believe was August 2024. It is the estate's intention to move forward here promptly for all the reasons that are associated with the settlement and state. But if unforeseen circumstances could happen, the economy goes completely south, we can't find a buyer, then we have to consider alternate things. If that takes us out to 2029, which we hope not, then I would assume we wouldn't be subject to these conditions. So I'm hoping the resolution would reflect that.
So the way our ordinance works is if you go disturb a road within 5 years, you can't do it, or you have to do it with all these other conditions, okay? So after 5 years, nothing. I mean, you have to restore it, but that's not this whole process by which we're gonna escrow the money and all like that. It's just gonna be a strip and covered over. So what he's asking for is actually in accordance with the ordinance. So they do it within the 5 years. They gotta do a first-class job that they're proposing to do and put the money up. Okay, if they don't do it within the 5 years, they're like anybody else. They just get a road opening, street opening permit and fill it back in. That's how it works. So I think what he's asking for is just to make that clear. And I think it's clear for our council, that's the way it works anyway. If you don't give them permission, we don't get this lovely repaving job. If you do give them permission, we do, unless it's after 5 years.
Yeah, so, just for your information, maybe you can sleep at night. We've had some discussions with the neighbors. And, we'll finish that up in the next week or so. And, that the proposal is receiving favorable feedback from the neighbors, so.
Okay.
Um,
Well, again, we appreciate all the legwork Borough Council has done as well as your staff, so thank you for that. And I have nothing further to add except for we certainly can answer any further questions if you have.
Great, and I want to make sure that we discuss if you wanted any changes to this resolution. Now, this draft resolution will get 2 changes right off the bat. One is that better map that we just showed, we will put as Exhibit A. And the second is that Chad will do another review letter based on the cost estimate that they gave them and everything like that, and we'll fix that. We'll fix that as well. But otherwise, it's going to be pretty much the way I wrote it. So if you have questions about anything that's in the draft, let's share them and discuss them now so that we make sure that the final resolution is what you would like to see.
Are you also going to put in there about the 5-year span?
Yes.
Once we reach that point and beyond that, it's no longer
Yes, I was gonna put that in and I got the date from Chad and Steve. What date I should use as the date of final completion. It's 5 years from that date.
All right, good.
I did get that date and I'll put the exact date in case, time goes by and we all forget.
All right, okay.
Okay,
Any other questions on it?
Madam Solicitor, how are we putting in all these specific notes into the resolution? Are we just referencing it?
I'm sorry, what was?
So all the notes, all the suggestions.
Oh, yeah.
How are we
No.
referencing that?
Usually I can reference regulations. But what Chad used in this case were the regulations that he gives bidders who want to do paving for us. So they're not actually in our ordinance book. They're what we put out with the bid. So I have provided them to the Heckler estate and they will be attached and it's 70 pages. But it's clear that that's what you're going to be working on.
That's correct. There are modifications because of flowable fill in lieu of your normal trench compaction and a few minor things like that. The other thing we did is we added a lot of notes to the plan addressing, and you'll see my comment, was added to the plan addressing all of Chad's comments. In addition to that, we provide any of the buyers a complete package of all of this information, and they need to know it, they need to acknowledge it, that these are the conditions, and that included the specs. The nice part about the details that we've added with Chad's help is the more you have on the plane, the more you have on the details, the more the guy in the field selected know what he has to do. It's unfortunate, but in construction projects, when you're out there, nobody's got a spec book. It's always best to have it on the plane. That's what we've attempted to do as much as possible.
Right, and to the extent that the plan that we attach as an exhibit has the stuff on it already, we don't need to include that or make changes in our regulations. But Chad's review letter should say that, I think.
He's awesome.
Usually pretty good about that.
He is.
So we'll attach this review letter, we'll attach the regulations, and we'll attach their new plan. And the number we'll use will be the number they submitted, provided Chad agrees that's a good number for what we need to have done. It's very similar to what we do with developers. We have them escrow for public improvements. They present Chad with a list of public improvements and what it'll cost. Chad verifies it that it's the right number, and then that's the number they put in financial security. So it's a very similar process we're doing here.
Actually, if I could comment, you actually have an extra 40% protection built in at Chad's request in the escrow, if you look towards the bottom.
Well, he's looking out for us, and we don't know exactly when you're going to do this, so prices might go up a lot.
Yeah, that's good. It's good to have an escalator.
And it should be noted for the public that you will have fencing and ground will be leveled off as a day-to-day activity. Since it is just down the street from a school, so kids' safety is definitely being taken into consideration there, so.
Protection fence is critical. Also, I know Chad's guys will be there. The three contractors I will work with, are all very careful. They know they have to be, especially, sidewalks, kids, people, that situation, you have cars. So we're quite cognizant of all of those issues, and plus you retain the ability to approve the contract from what I understand with Chad. That's important. So,
Right.
We're gonna get a road to and not saying get a guy that does just driveways doing the road. And for the utilities, we're getting a subcontractor. And I think that's important.
Right, it is in Chad's letter that the borough should approve the guys doing the work, so that we know we get a good quality product out of it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody okay with the resolution with all those things that we just discussed?
I am. Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. All right, item B, PennDOT Master Casting Agreement Resolution.
The PennDOT Master Casting Agreement, has been on for discussion for the last couple meetings. This is the resolution to, authorize the borough manager and attest council president to engage in the master castings agreement. I included it in the packet this time again, the cost of, the public works director came to replace the manhole castings versus, what it would be on state roads, local roads. I know there were some questions about like cost savings and what those totals would be. And Steve's here tonight to answer any questions that come up for this agreement.
And I think we went through this, the last meeting. Basically, we're gonna be saving some money doing it this way. I mean, that's what it boils down to. Same quality, same type of, same grade of material and everything.
Yeah, and on top of that, it frees up the Public Works Department to do other jobs throughout the community as well.
We have any other questions? Any other comments about this? Okay. All right, item C, the Verizon Cable Franchise Renewal Services.
Verizon Cable Franchise Renewal Services Agreement is included in your packets. It's a letter that authorizes the borough manager to sign the engagement with Cohen Law Group to assist in the cable franchise renewal with Verizon. I did include, as I included in the last meeting, a list of the differences from our previous agreement that we worked on with Cohen Law Group, which was for Comcast versus this one for Verizon. You can see the main differences. I believe in the packet last time, it listed like 318 differences between the two contracts. A lot of those were like punctuation or because Comcast was written instead of Verizon. We can see the cost differences for 2022 versus 2026. Just for example, if we had between 2 to 10 municipalities at a 10% discount, we were $6,000 versus in 2022, that same would have been $66,715. So there's a little bit of savings in 2026, even though the way that it's distributed is a little bit different. Instead of less than 5,000, less than 10,000, they bumped it everybody to less than 10,000 for your population. Pretty standard agreement. I know Kate's reviewed it. We've worked with Cohen Law Group in the past when we negotiate these contracts for renewal services with Verizon. So if there's any specific questions on it, I know we discussed it in detail at the last meeting to engage Cohen to work through this agreement with us. I think one of the biggest factors we talked last meeting is that Verizon is a public utility, which is different than Comcast. So it's a little bit different to negotiate with them, a little bit harder. We did talk about pole attachment agreements. Unlike Comcast, we do not have one with Verizon because Verizon has just as many poles as Hatfield Borough does located. So we attach to them, they attach to ours. We would kind of be losing if we started charging them like we charge Comcast. So that will not be part of this agreement. But everything else is pretty standard that they did for Comcast as well as the same they're going to do for Verizon.
It is true that this law firm has handled these negotiations for about 15 years, maybe longer.
Yeah.
So I think there's some strength in numbers, that maybe if they have to negotiate something with Verizon, they say, well, we got 12 municipalities that are upset about this. There probably is some strength in that, as opposed to saying we're Hatfield Borough. Remember us? You know what I mean? No, aren't you the township? No, we're the borough, And so I do think that there's some advantages to go as a group. And these guys have done it before, so be okay.
All right. All right. Any other questions, Ed? All right, thank you. All right, item D, 2026 council meeting dates.
I know we spoke about this at the last meeting. I'm just pulling up my calendar. We talked about who was available in August. So the August 19th workshop meeting, I know that President Gerard is unable to attend that meeting. Is that correct?
Right.
And we wanted,
The mayor.
and the mayor, and we wanted to make sure that there would be a quorum, that everyone checks their calendars, that we know, and or reschedule that meeting to August 5th. Just move it up 2 weeks. So it's just a discussion we had at the last meeting, and Councilmember Ferguson was traveling, so he was not able, and we wanted to include him in that conversation. It's important to know who's going to be able to attend. I know it's far out and people have vacations, so it's kind of hard to predict where your life's gonna be in 6 months. But, there's just a conversation we wanted to have, before we would make any advertising changes or just keep it as is. So that's kind of where we're at today, just the conversation to see where we are. And if you guys had discussed offline or what your schedules look like.
We hadn't, but thank you for the consideration. Whatever you guys need to do is fine with me. So,
Okay,
Are you available then? On that?
as far as I can tell, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's. me too.
yeah, that's why it's, I know it's far out, but yeah.
All right. Any other questions, comments on that?
So do we need to vote to approve the new dates or the change in dates, and then you have to advertise?
Correct, but I don't think I think the consensus was that they weren't gonna change the
Okay.
date, that's what we're gonna decide
As long as
tonight.
we-
If they decide to change it, we'll put it on an advertisement at the next meeting, but if you're okay leaving it the same, then we don't need to advertise because we already advertised. So that's whatever you guys decide.
For that one, I think we just.
Yeah, for the second, yeah, just leave it.
So you're okay, it'll still stay as
Keep it
August
the same.
19th, it'll be
Keep
the
it
same.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that was the only meeting, correct?
Yeah.
That we were discussing, date changes.
Is there another one?
No, just that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, all right. All right, all right, item 9, action items. Need a motion to approve resolution 2026-01, the PennDOT Master Casting Agreement, and authorize Borough Manager Jamie Snyder to sign the agreement.
Motion?
Second?
I have a motion from Councilperson Burns, seconded by Councilperson Weiss. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Item B, a motion to approve the Cohen Law Group Verizon Franchise Renewal Services Agreement and authorize Borough Manager Jamie E. Snyder to sign the agreement.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilperson Ferguson, seconded by Councilperson Burns. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Item 10, do we have a executive session for real estate and
Yes,
personnel?
we do need to discuss litigation and personnel.
Okay, all right. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
So.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.